We are live. Jacob, does your brother might have a computer with a different name? I have someone by the name of Sean trying to get in.
That's his son. That'd be his son.
It kind of looks like a picture of Andrew, but I'm not. Oh, he left.
Yeah, it's a little Andrew.
Okay. I didn't want to let anybody in that wasn't.
Okay. Hey, Sarah, I was just about to call you too. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, so we'll get started, and as Neil comes in, then we'll kind of move along. So I'm going to call this meeting to order at 5:01 p.m. and we'll start off with roll call. So Ms. Ayano is not present. Ms. Bertel is not present yet. I'm here, and Andrew Sandoval.
Here.
Okay, Sarah Turner.
Here.
And Neil just came in.
President Wellington.
Okay, so now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Now can I get a motion for the approval of the board agenda?
I motion to approve the board agenda.
Okay, motion by Ms. Turner. Can I get a second? Second, Mr. Patel. Okay, roll call.
Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Andrew Sandoval,
Aye.
Neil Patel,
Aye, Captain.
Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Elva Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Now can I get a motion to adjourn to closed session?
I motion to adjourn to closed session.
I'll second.
We will do roll call. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Neil Patel,
Aye.
Andrew Sandoval,
Aye.
Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, I'll see everybody in closed session.
The board members will be connecting in just a few moments if you need to take a break.
Good evening, everybody. Hopefully we get some more participation from our other board members soon.
So it looks like we're just waiting on Sarah and Neil. Okay. There's Sarah. So it looks like just Neil we're waiting on. Okay, we'll get started and then we'll see if Neil kind of comes in as we move on. So I want to reconvene back into open session. There's Neil. Okay. And we do have a report back. The governing board voted 4-0 to approve a written settlement agreement to resolve OAH case number 202-102-0071. In exchange for educational support, the case will be dismissed and all claims under jurisdiction of OAH to date against the district are waived. All right, thank you. Now we'll move on to 3.0, which is the approval of the consent agenda. Any questions or can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Sarah. Can I get a second?
I second.
So we'll do roll call.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. So now we move on to 4.0, reports and information. First, SRTA. Is there anything that's sent in?
Yes, I have a SRTA's comment. Trustees, as reopening plans keep changing, we appreciate the many meetings that are being held for the public and staff, especially that the topics are being discussed or announced ahead of time. So members and families can see the meetings are important to tune into. Our members are looking forward to a concrete schedule for reopening once all families have had their chance to communicate their plan for their student. Knowing how the in-person schedule will look will better help ease the planning minds of our teachers. We are planners and want to make sure this time together meets the needs of our students. Any planning time to prepare lessons for these social emotional lessons and prepare our physical workspace for students will be greatly appreciated. We are also thankful the district will be taking advantage of using the iReady diagnostic as a end of year data. Taking the SBAC online was not going to be equitable for our students. In the end, our members are very ready for spring break. I wish the trustees, the superintendent's cabinet, district office, admin, classified staff, our members, and the families in our community a safe and relaxing spring break. Kate Stover, SRTA president.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Stover, for listening to the comments. Is there anybody from the other union?
No one from CSEA.
Okay. And then today we have a principal spotlight.
Today we have a department spotlight.
Oh, okay.
So I would like to welcome, they'll be coming in from the waiting room, and I would just like to give a quick introduction to our guests this evening. I want to welcome Val Wiltsey. Val Wiltsey is a program specialist that works out of SELPA, and I see Kenyon Hopkins is here, and it looks like he's working to connect. Kenyon is the executive director of SELPA, but I'm most happy and proud to announce and welcome Satwat Race tonight with a presentation that she would like to share with the board regarding her involvement with the Captain Project. So I am going to turn it over to Kenyon, Satwat, and Val for their presentation this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. Can everyone hear me okay? All right, excellent. So I'm just going to do a quick introduction to give you a little bit of background regarding Captain, what Captain is about and what Captain actually is. And then Satwat will take it from there. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick. I have a little bit of a PowerPoint to show you all, and I hope this will kind of inform you a little bit about what Satwat's been doing and the great work that she's been doing within your school district. So to begin with, Captain is actually an acronym that is for the California Autism Professional Training and Information Network. And so the idea behind Captain, it's been in effect for many, many years, is that we would be scaling up information and assistance to districts so that they are able to improve outcomes for individuals with autism. And so that would be done through the use of evidence-based practices, effective training, coaching, leadership, and regional supports, creating systems within the SELPAs and the LEAs that can support the sustained use of evidence-based practices. And this would lead to better outcomes for students with autism. So within recent years, we have had a grant come out of the CDE that was given to a state lead agency, and that state lead agency is the Marin County SELPA. And so the Marin County SELPA now has regional lead agencies, and our Monterey County SELPA is one of those regional lead agencies. So this is not only a local effort, it's a statewide effort. And so in these next slides, I'll show you a little bit of how that works. So we have multi-level teams starting at the state level. The Marin County SELPA is essentially assisting the other SELPAs throughout the state in bringing capacity to the LEAs within their regions. And then we have the SELPA autism regional leads who are supporting the SELPA LEAs, the local school districts that are within our regions. And then finally, we have the district autism implementation teams, which serve your local school districts. And so to show you a little bit who is involved with those individual teams, at the state level, we have Marin County SELPA as a content level team, our regional implementation level sponsoring SELPAs, Monterey County would be one of those, and then the regional implementation lead support people who within our SELPA would be Patty Banks. And then within our SELPAs, we have implementation teams, which essentially within our SELPA, we are including the entire SELPA staff. We have Patty Banks as the regional implementation lead of the region. And we also have our captain cadre members, which are both Val Wiltsey and Patty Banks. And then our regional implementation lead sponsoring SELPA would include myself and the rest of the SELPA staff. And then finally, within the district autism implementation team, we have your school district staff, and SATWAT has been amazing in supporting your district and doing the implementation work at a local level. And then we have our captain cadre and other regional implementation SELPA staff. So the way that this information is rolled out to districts and implemented is through a multi-tiered level of support. And so at the tier 1 level, we have the captain website, which has universal supports for all of our school districts, teachers, parents, and even students if they want to learn more about how to learn better. And then at our tier 2, we have the captain cadre, which is the individuals from our SELPA and from within our region who go to annual trainings, provide local level trainings to our school districts, and essentially scale up the information so that the districts can support the programs within their local schools. And then at the tier 3, we have intensive supports where our districts, upon request, can have individualized supports, really kind of concentrating on specific programs within schools or within multiple schools within the districts. And so the work that we've kind of been doing up to this point is at the tier 2 level with the captain cadre, bringing individualized trainings to school districts and working with staff within those districts. And so Monterey County SELPA cadre members were provided training to professionals within the school districts for deeper understanding and use of evidence-based practices, which included coaching, monthly meetings, technical assistance, and fidelity checks. And the Santa Rita team, led by SATWAT, selected one student to implement selected evidence-based practices with and collected data on the student's progress with hopes of generalizing improvements to the other students with autism. SATWAT was recognized before Santa Rita's Board of Directors in 2018-19, and she was awarded with the Captain Achievement of Implementation Fidelity Award. And our SELPA is really proud of SATWAT's accomplishments, and she's been doing excellent work. Finally, after the year of implementation and data collection, the school site teams are responsible for paying it forward to other site teams within districts. And the team's mission was to disseminate information for professional development through access to the autism-focused intervention resources and modules, which is called AFFIRM, and the other web-based materials and resources on the website provided by Captain. This was to be completed by providing local leadership within Santa Rita and ensuring that the teachers learned about implementing evidence-based practices. So in her presentation, SATWAT will be explaining in detail about her substantial efforts and success in training professional staff at Santa Rita in the use of evidence-based practices and supporting individuals on the autism spectrum. So I will let Satwat take it from here to tell you about all the great work that she's been doing.
Thank you, Kenyon. Hi, everyone. My name is Satwat, and I've been working at McKinnon Elementary School as an STC teacher. I'm a proud member of the Santa Rita Unified School District. Right now, I am going to share my presentation with you, and hopefully you'll be able to see it. I want to thank Kenyon because it is an honor that you're here, Kenyon, presenting with me. I also want to thank Wilsey, who's the program manager at our SELPA, Monterey County SELPA. Nadine, thank you. Michael Mushnick, Patty Banks for trusting in me to bring this information to our site teams. So before I go on, I have included the Captain website right here. It's www.captain.ca.gov. In case anyone is interested in perusing through it, they have great resources for our teachers and anyone who wants to learn about some instructional strategies. What is Captain? Kenya did an amazing job at describing what it is in detail. So one of the things I want to touch base on is what is an evidence-based practice? An evidence-based practice is there are a lot of instructional strategies that are out there that we use when we're working with children with autism or students with autism. But research has been conducted, and there are almost 28 of them that have been recognized as research-based. Every single time they're used, it leads to increased learning outcomes for the students. So those are the practices we wanted to focus on. And we wanted to bring this information to our sites, to our teachers, to the other Santa Rita staff who are directly working with these students. Captain has 3 goals, but I focused on 2 of them. One was increased knowledge about ASD, autism spectrum disorder, and evidence-based practices through systematic dissemination of information. Whatever we did, it had to be planned out, and it had to be systematic so that we can get the best out of that strategy. Goal number 2 is to increase implementation and fidelity of evidence-based practices in our schools and communities. Now, what does that mean? That means that when I was training our teachers on different school sites, one thing that I recognized very quickly was some of our special education teachers, some of our general education teachers were already using some of these techniques. However, they did not understand the why behind it. They did not understand the how behind it or the protocols or the procedures, in detail. They understood that it helped for some of them, but why? And therefore we had to make sure that the implementation and fidelity, we worked on that aspect of it. Now, evidence-based practices help students with autism in gaining a lot of confidence and helps them in different aspects in their academics. It helps in their mental. It helps with their social, emotional, all those goals. It supports them. In September, our different school sites were contacted and conversations were started with our TOSAs, with our administration. And we wanted to figure out who was the target audience. Was it just our teachers or everybody else who came in contact with these students? By the end of it, till date, we have had teachers, paraeducators, instructional aides, speech language pathologists, and parents who have participated in receiving these trainings. The parents part was limited to the McKinnon site. Data, copious notes were taken, surveys were created, and they were sent out after each training so that we could collect that feedback and how we can better these trainings. In October, the first trainings on introduction to autism and evidence-based trainings was introduced. I used the Affirm website like Kenyon mentioned, and it was great. But one of the things I was careful about was that I made sure these presentations were modified to the target audience. If I was working with parents, I needed to make sure that whatever information I was bringing in, the parents could relate to it. So there were lots of examples, it explained everything. When I was working with teachers, I had to make sure what it means to have a evidence-based practice and how we could implement it, for example, in our distance learning model, because a lot of teachers had those questions like, okay, this is the information, now what do I do with it these days? So all this was taken into consideration. The trainings, 12 of the trainings have already been held from October to February, and I'm still going to hold 2 more, one in April and another one in May. The topics that were included range from introduction to autism and the evidence-based practices. And then I focused, out of those 28 evidence-based practices, the focus was on 3: visual schedules, reinforcement, and prompting. Every school site had, if they wanted, a choice of which one they wanted to go with. And there were cases where on one side, I have given trainings on all 3 or just one based on which group it was being presented to. So there was a lot of flexibility built into this. Valerie gave me a goal to include 3 school sites. We ended up presenting to 4 school sites. So thank you to the principals and TOSAs of New Republic, McKinnon Elementary, Santa Rita Elementary, and Bolsa Knolls. So without their collaboration, this would not have been possible. Who were our participants? Over 54 participants in these trainings. Half of them were trained on more than two topics. 1/3 of them were trained on over 3 topics. And then at least 16 to 17 of them received a single training. So these included 23 general education teachers, including a TOSA, a vice principal, and a principal. 4 speech language pathologists participated in this, para-educators and instructional aides, 17 over 3 different school sites. We had SDC teachers, 2 of them participated, and the part I absolutely the parent participation. So 3 families participated at the McKinnon school site. Quick data sharing, because I'm an SDC teacher, I love data. And again, it informs our decision making. So very quickly, there was a lot of data taken, but here is some that I'm going to share with you. This slide is from our paraprofessionals, the ones who attended the meeting, the trainings. I asked them if they were aware of what an evidence-based practice is, and 60% of them said no, 20% of them said yes, and 20% another not sure, which means 80% of the paraprofessionals, some of them were actively working with these students, were not aware of what an evidence-based practice is, or if they were using it. For our speech language pathologists who again come in contact with these students with autism, or students who generally have other challenges, we have to remember that evidence-based practices not only support children with autism, but they actually support other students who need those scaffolds to learning. Now, I asked the speech pathologist, did you have the understanding of concepts of these, the prompting, the session we were working on? And half of them were either not sure or didn't know, they weren't clear on these concepts. From our general education teachers over 2 different sites, have you ever used prompting techniques in your classroom? And when I asked them this question, after talking to me, they realized that almost all of them were using this technique in their classroom before the training. I asked them if they could name any type of prompt that was a topic for that training. And 80% said no, and 20% said they're not sure. So although they're using these techniques, they're not sure on what they're using and how they're using it. At the end of the training, all 100% of the responses were they knew they could answer 3 different types of prompts. They were very confident in how they were going to use it in the future, and they were very thankful for this training. Data collection from parents, I again asked them if they were aware of what an evidence-based practice was, and 60% said no, 20% said they were not sure. Can they name an evidence-based practice after the training? 100% of them knew the answer. And then did they think that if this was a beneficial professional development training for them? 100% of them were very confident that this had helped them. This feedback is taken with permission from our participants. And Tosa from Santa Rita, she said that this training to the parents greatly affirmed the need for specific scaffolds for students to meet them where they are and help them move forward. The speech pathologist told me that this was very important, and it showed the importance of good work environment, class rules, and daily management techniques for the student. We embedded all of them in the trainings and how it related to our speech pathologists when they were working with these small groups of students with special needs, especially students with autism. From the parent, I received this great feedback that this parent particularly had been working with an ABA company for over 2 years. And she said that over the 2 years, no therapist has been as informative and as beneficial as just one session of this training with me. And they now understand the science behind it and the different levels of why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and the support she can provide for her student child. Important feedback from a general education teachers, because these are the teachers who are starting to see more and more students in their classroom, because we want to have an inclusive environment. And this teacher said that she didn't even realize that she was using some of these techniques in her day-to-day. The presentation helped her and highlighted the strategies that she could use and why these strategies work for a wide range of students. That this was an invaluable presentation for new as well as seasoned teachers. You know, she went on to say some good things about me too, but I did not put them in here. Outcomes achieved. We are sharing the latest research on evidence-based teaching and learning regarding children with autism. So this is the latest research we're bringing into the field to our teachers, into their hands, and we're empowering them. Number 2, strategies that benefit all students for increased learning outcomes. Not only do these strategies help students with autism, this is an evidence-based strategy for students with autism, but for other students, it also yields great results. Empowering school staff by providing access to culturally sensitive and competency-based evidence-based practices. And the last thing and the most dear to my heart is collaboration between special education and children education departments. When we have collaboration, it leads to increased achievement and creates an atmosphere of inclusivity for all students. And personally, it was a great learning experience for me as well. So thank you.
And I'm sure she's happy to take any questions from the board that you may have. It looks like Kenyon did an Irish exit and disappeared without being approved for dismissal. But I also want to thank Kenyon and Val for joining too while I get the chance. It's not many opportunities we get to have some high level guests in our meeting tonight, but Satwat, great job. And I'm sure if the board, if you have any questions, please feel free.
I'll go first. Thank you for doing the presentation. I do remember it was one of my first meetings when you did get the award and stuff. One of the things that stuck out to me was I think you had that image of California and kind of the missing puzzle pieces and stuff. And kind of what I see, kind of what you guys have been doing is kind of a game changer, kind of seems like it, because you're kind of really putting all the pieces together. And I think a lot of times there's a lot of research and stuff that's done out there. And sometimes teachers are kind of left out there to try to figure out what to use, and just the fact that you've done such a well job of making it more concise is really going to be, I think, a game changer for helping them serve our students and stuff. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just our teachers. Sometimes the missing piece is not just the teachers, it's that other staff, those individuals that are working closely with our students, whether it is during recess time, whether it is during small group instruction. So yeah, thank you for the feedback, Mr. Sandoval.
If I could add something to that, if you please, hello, distinguished board, is the greater number of the community, whether it's the school community or the community at large in which the children live, the more that we have knowledge of these evidence-based practice, the more the world can interact with those individuals and have those students be part in the world in which we all live. So that's the hopeful and very, very big and large outcome. So training the lunch ladies, training the playground attendants, the principals, vice principals, the individuals that generally are the first one to greet the students as they enter the school through the office and everybody. So it takes a village, and through this, our endeavors with Scottswatt will continue, and Santa Rita School District will perhaps be the best world supporting these students. That's what I hope. Thank you.
No, I think that is beautifully said. I think how you're saying is just changing the culture of not just the teachers, but I think everybody who comes in contact with them. So I think that is an awesome point to make. Thank you. Mr. Patel?
Well, I was going to say something. All right, here we go. Three things that really got to me with the presentation. First was this idea of evidence-based learning or practices. Whenever we have programs that come in, I'm always worried about, hey, where's the proof? I need to see, show me the money, if you will, and if there is proof behind something, it is being used. And I don't like reinventing the wheel. So thank you for that. And the more of that, the better, and then teachers can trust it and rely upon it because, they know they're not reinventing the wheel and it's already been out there and tested it, etc. Second thing, I really love the idea of combining and sharing and collaborating between general education and special education. With the host of various issues that our students are going through, and a lot of students fall through the cracks. So having this cross training with paras, with general education, I think we can identify and help and educate further, those students that are within our care, and so I'm all for that. And the third thing was I really appreciated the fact that when the parent made the comment that this was beneficial because of when I think of parents and I think of autism, I think of parents who are very dedicated out there and full of information and seeking it, and others who are lost, who are seeking information. They don't know how to deal with things. And so for the fact that that was also presented out there, and I would encourage our district to continue, partnering with this organization, and providing as much additional support as possible, but thank you for your presentation. And once again, this benefits our community, students, families, and like you said, the cross training will create a community. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
I just want to make a quick comment, and I appreciate the report, and especially the collaboration piece. Like Mr. Patel said, it's a whole community approach, and educating parents and including every different aspect and every different level of contact that that a student may be a part of. I think adds to the value, and I'm all for including parents in whatever education, same level of education that the teachers get, so everyone just becomes better informed. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for the hard work. And I know as a teacher, a lot of times teachers are completely comfortable in their own classroom, and then having to teach other adults is very terrifying. So thank you for putting yourself out there and improving everybody's practice. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, so it sounds like that. So thank you all for doing the presentation and taking the time as well.
Thank you, Satwat. Thank you, Val. Excellent.
Thank you kindly.
Okay, so now we move on to Superintendent's Cabinet. We'll start off with nutritional services.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Just a couple quick updates from the Friday letter. So we made a schedule for our spring break meal service for next week, and we're going to be able to give meals for all 6 days. That would include April 5th. I know that's not a spring break, but it's a non-working day for our staff. So we're going to be giving, on Monday, we'll give meals for Monday and Tuesday. On Tuesday, we'll give meals for Wednesday and Thursday. And then on Wednesday, we'll give meals for Friday and the following Monday, the 5th. So not only is it going to provide families with all 6 days, but we're also going to give our staff a nice long weekend. So the ones that did decide that they wanted to work will still be able to enjoy some time with their families as well. And the other update is on the MCOE sites that we service as a food service department. They gave us a start date of April 19th. I don't know how firm that is, but we're looking at April 19th for now. I forwarded over the interagency agreement to my contact over at MCOE, Terry Dye. They'll be looking it over and sending it back, and then we'll bring it to the board for approval, hopefully early April, the first meeting, if all goes well. And that's it for me. Any questions?
Any questions from the board or comments?
You know what, Chuck, I just want to say, the workers underneath you, all the essential staff that's been feeding our community month after month during this pandemic, if anyone deserves a well-deserved a break, it's them. And even then, they're going to come back and provide food on various days, so what else can I say? Commend your staff and just let them know that, they're truly making a huge difference. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Are you trying to say something, Andrew? I think you're on mute. Oh, no? Okay. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. Okay, move on to maintenance.
Well, good evening, everybody. I want to just kind of give you a brush up update on my Friday letter. And number one, if you have any questions, please let me know. Sorry about that. Phone's always on. So if you have any questions, I wouldn't mind, having you ask anything, but I do want to give you an update on the solar portion of it. We're continuing to exercise the ELM platform on the new solar system at McKinnon. And that's kind of our brainchild or our baby that we're kind of, trying to make sure that it works. So next week, we're taking advantage of the spring break and we're going to be continuing to do some manual shutdowns. And if everything works on Monday, I think we're going to do a complete load test on the system on Tuesday. And then if everything works out, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're going to continue implementing the ELM platform to the rest of the sites. In my letter, I kind of identified three other projects. And so I just want to let you know that the purchase of portables, like for the kitchen renovation and the DO, I'm working on project cost control sheets now that we've finalized the scope of work that we're doing at Gavilan kitchen renovation. So as I just want to put it out there that, the scope crept up solely because of mandated DSA guidelines, structural engineering and stuff like that. So I will, put a fine pencil onto the budgets on that. And also we identified the additional portable for the DO and GB as a temporary service line for food distribution, solely because we're taking down pretty much the whole entire multipurpose center. So with that, I will bring to you in the next board meeting the recommendations and budgets. And we also identified a need for replacement of 3 portables over at La Jolla. So I did discuss it at our Monday meeting, and it was kind of favorable to let's do it, let's go ahead. And so my committee actually gave me the thumbs up. So that was great. Other than that, Parent Resource Center is up and running again. We're still under construction, and we should see that probably completed in a few weeks. So if anybody comes along, see it, that'll be great. That is also pending my staff's availability. So we're doing a little bit more than that. So any questions?
Any questions from the speaker?
Victor, I just want to commend you in the fact that, you've had a lot on your plate. I'm thinking of the 4 major projects, especially with electrical, the battery backup, the 3 portables that we got to put in. I mean, you got a lot on your plate. And, I really appreciate the fact that we're getting things done and we're fixing things that need to get fixed, And so I know it's frustrating. I know with the battery component, it's very frustrating. It's been a long time, but I just want to encourage you that keep up, on all phases that you're working on. You're doing a tremendous job for our district. So keep it up, and these projects will be completed, and then we'll have more, and then we'll have more, but you've handled the project so far really good.
Thank you.
No, I was just going to say, I'm sure the day will come when the slower thing will be completely fixed and we can move on to something different, right? Yeah. So thank you for kind of keeping up on that stuff as well.
Yeah, I just want to commend you, Victor, on keeping the pressure on to get these projects done. I was just kind of blown away with the different logistics. I thought we were just building a kitchen, but we have to have backup systems in place and alternate facilities and locations. So I really appreciate your work and your consistency and the pressure you're keeping on the other people helping us. That was discussed during our facilities meeting. I also want to thank you for participating in the school reopening meeting the other day. I was in the Spanish session, so I appreciated you being there and addressing the concerns of the parents. So that was really exciting. I was a little confused because they said, "Oh, I think Mr. Sandoval can answer that." And I was like, "Oh no, I can't." And so I your voice popped on there, and I really appreciate that. I think being able to communicate with the parents on that level and hearing from one of our directors is really valuable. And I think everyone did a great job with that meeting. But we'll talk about that a little later. But thank you, Victor.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to Chief Business Officer.
Good evening. I do have a lot of ongoing projects that I listed on my Friday letter. Most of the focus that I had last week, it was working with the rating company. As you remember on my Friday letter, I share information in regards to this and how important it is for the district in the long term. So they reveal a lot of information. They were going over or OPEB reports or audit reports or budget reports. Pretty much all the financial information. I got the opportunity to do a presentation and represent the district and just answer like 2 pages of questions that they had. So I'm really excited about the process and I'm looking forward for the results. My goal is that hopefully with all the information that we provided, we can look into or we can qualify for an upgrade in our district rating. And as you know, this is very beneficial for the district as we have cash deferrals still in the future for next fiscal year. And with so much unknown information, if we have the need to take out a loan, having a good rating, it's very, very beneficial. So I'm excited about it and looking forward for the results. And I will keep you updated as soon as I get that information. Other than that, just working on the ongoing projects that I have, working on providing information for the new OPEB report and the board reporting that we have on a quarterly basis. And that's pretty much everything I have. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're Rosa. I do have a question. I know previously we kind of instituted like a new way for the employees to kind of fill in like their timesheets, and it was more electronic because I think you had mentioned. How's that kind of going? And
yeah, so that's the employee portal through Scape. It's a web base, and we were in the implementation process a few months ago. Right now, we started the training and the testing process. We are on the testing, so we encounter some issues with that, and we reach out to the county. They're fixing it. Most of it's IT, that it's not transferring the data. So we're still working towards that. I know MCOE is short in staff on that department. They used to have around 4 people working in Scape projects. Right now, they only have 1. So it's taking longer than projected, but it's an ongoing project and we're still working on it and doing as much as we can from the district part so we can move forward. And it's free, so.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate our district's innovating in a lot of different areas and the different departments and stuff. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you for looking out for the district's rating as well, not just all your little projects, but the long-term effects of having a positive rating and looking to strengthen that. Thank you.
Mr. Patel?
Just a couple of things. First thing, Rosa, once again, as always, I'm very thankful for the information you're providing us, so we can make the best decision possible. And, over the years, we've been through a lot of issues regarding budgets and money and how much we're going to get. And we've always had this really good conservative attitude at this district in terms of making sure that we are very conservative in how we spend money and how we save money and how we appropriate it. And so I know the next 3 or 4 years, budgets are going to be increased, because of federal monies, whatever it may be. But I just feel like I need to say that, I hope that the vision of this district is that we stay conservative. We always make sure that we can pay our bills. We don't overextend. And we always have a healthy reserve to take care of whatever promises made today, that we can pay for them tomorrow. And that is always a concern with one-time monies. I know, a lot of agencies are getting one-time monies, like our city, our district, various counties. But my concern is it's one time, and sometimes people get into situations where they create long-term obligations. And so I know things are adequate right now. I know things are doing really well, and I want to make sure that we hopefully maintain that conservative approach when it comes to our budgets and future income and long-term obligations. Having said that, once again, phenomenal job, Rosa. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no more questions, move on to student services.
Thank you. Just a couple quick items from me tonight. I've been working very closely with the Monterey County Office of Educational regional programming that we house on our campuses, because we serve more than just our residents of our district, but we also work with MCOE in the James Steffen Building, Ruth Andreessen School, as well as the Therapeutic Intervention Program that's on La Jolla's campus. So I've been working closely with the leadership of those programs, as well as the principals on our school sites, to make sure that those agencies have smooth reopening plans as well, because they are part of our community and they follow calendar. They take a lead from us of when students will return. And as you may know, those regional programs are on districts all through the county. So it's a lot of logistics for them to work with, this district's opening at this time, this district's opening at this particular date. So I really admire the leadership in that program, and I work very closely with them, and we have strong relationships to the point that I can just work directly with the principals of those programs, Beth Krickberg and Alicia Farinato, and we are making sure that they are informed in every decision that we make, so that they can keep their families informed of how we're going to gradually reintroduce to students. So that's worked very well. So I'm very pleased with that. And then I just want to express how fun and interesting it's been to be in all the community meetings lately, and the duties that have been assigned to me, which I'm happy to do and serve. But I've been in so many board meetings the last month, not as many as Melissa or other types of meetings, but just doing the special board meetings and watching the trainings, I have viewed those. And then the town hall meeting, of which I was assigned to scribe, which I was typing faster than I've ever typed in my life to take notes, but it went really well. And I'm so happy to be able to, didn't speak, but I was able to answer some questions directly in the chat. And I thought I was doing such a great job keeping up until they started flying in. And then we kind of had to tag team and deal with them. And I want to thank Heather Baumgartner for the English meeting that we were in. I was able to pull a lot of the questions from the chat and put them on a Google Doc, and then she could see, and Gail Spencer for categorizing them so that we could get just like a general information out there that Melissa and Donna could answer, and that system worked very, very well. So I think we had over 180 questions in the chat on that one from what wasn't in the chat, but questions, of which every single one of them I scribed. And I think Melissa and Donna did a great job addressing them, but we couldn't have done it without Heather looking at them and then presenting those questions to the panel. So it's been exciting doing that. I think we'll have a few more meetings in our future. And that's all I have tonight. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Nadine. Yeah, and it does. Sometimes we don't see the stuff that goes on in the background. So that means that's taking place. So thank you for doing that. Any questions from the board or comments?
Well, you know me, Nadine. I'm always happy. You know, our special ed services, our services we provide our students, you know, is always paramount. You know, and our connection to our community. And I'm so grateful that you have been very outspoken in your support of the community meetings that you just displayed right now. So thank you. And I encourage all staff members, you know, we need to be more open. We need to be out there in our community. You know, don't fear it. We are the community, you know, we're part of it. So I really like the way that the direction the district is going with this. So continue on. I mean, it's good to see.
No other questions or comments? Then move on to human resources.
Thank you. So I just have a couple of things to report. First, I want to thank Rosa. I had not yet been made aware through our HR group about the new COVID leave grant that was signed into California state law on Friday. And Rosa shared an update with me this morning. So employees do have a new entitlement of COVID leave that they can use between January 1st and September 30th of this year. And so I was able to communicate that out to employees today. And the new entitlement does include vaccine appointments or symptoms related to vaccines. So that'll be a big benefit to our employees. And then my other item to share is just that we have our final recruitment event tomorrow. That will be our MCOE job fair. So we're moving right along. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Becky. I know one thing I wanted to mention that we kind of passed over kind of quick was we hired a principal at Bolson Knolls. So I mean, she was a Santa Rita, but I want to formally welcome Dr. Denise Estrella, and I'm sure she's going to do an awesome job and kind of take the school site where it needs to go from there. So just want to say thank you for that as well. Mr. Patel.
All right, curveball time. Here we go. So I have a couple of questions for you, Miss Becky Moore, if that's okay. Number one, do we have the best certificated staff in Salinas?
I have not worked in every district, but I do have to say that we are really appreciating their collaboration and input as we work through all the twists and turns of navigating opening.
I'll take that as a yes.
It is so great to have them to work with as partners in this. Yeah.
I'll take that as a yes. Do we have the best classified staff?
Oh my gosh, our classified staff have been amazing, supporting with so many needs within and outside of their job descriptions since March of last year. So for over a year now, we are absolutely lucky in this district.
Do we have the best admin team in the district?
I definitely would agree with that as well. The collaboration and everybody putting their hands on deck, like Nadine was sharing with this town hall the other night. Rosa and I were doing kind of the same thing she was doing on the Spanish side and trying to plug in some answers to help support our facilitators. So yeah, we had every single administrator, I think almost every administrator in the district, everyone was participating and helping in the background on that.
Now for the final question.
Yes.
Are you happy? Are you happy?
Can you tell I love it here? Thank you for hiring me. I really love being part of Santa Rita. Thank you. Was that an interview? Do I get to keep my job?
Any other questions or comments from the board? No? Okay. So move on to educational services.
I know a couple members of my team mentioned it, but I want to thank and I'm not going to name them because I don't want to accidentally forget anybody, but my entire cabinet, our entire school site leadership team, principals, vice principals, as well as two of our amazing counselors, Itzel Cornell and Alejandra Fuentes, for helping pull off the biggest engagement that we've ever had by having a dual language experience with our town hall. We simultaneously had a meeting in English and a meeting in Spanish. And while each meeting had two people as the main spokesperson, it took the rest of the team for each meeting behind the scenes to keep it going. We knew we would have a lot of questions. We made sure that we could communicate between each other just in case some questions came up that the expert was on the other team. So it was pretty amazing and a wonderful experience. And I cannot express my gratitude for this leadership team and those people willing to step up and help us be able to pull off what turned out to be a great event for us for Santa Rita. And then I'll talk to you a little bit later in the superintendent's report, but I did want to let you know that in talking with our leadership team and our teachers and our staff, we would like to move up our proposed start date for in-person cohort instruction by 1 week to April 26th. That still keeps us within that deadline for everybody to have received their full vaccine as well as the 2-week wait period. And so we're moving it up 1 more week. And right now, our plans seem to be somewhat aligned to our local high school district with doing the afternoon engagement and enrichment activities. So we felt pretty good about that. And we are keeping in contact with our neighbors and what they're doing and just making as many pathways and inroads as we can to communicate with our families.
Any questions? I'm sure we're going to have another portion of the report when she does her superintendent, just in case.
So are you letting me know I should wait for this?
Yes, sir.
I understand these things.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to board reports. Mr. Patel.
First of all, I want to clarify something I said it a couple of meetings ago. And that was that my belief at that time was that that if any member of the community wanted to put something on the agenda, then normally it would be introduced through their representative elected official. And I was educated by Andrew Sandoval, my fellow board member, that I was wrong. And I was educated, and I've researched the information, and he was absolutely correct. And that is any community member has a right, following the process that our district lays out, to put stuff on our agenda to be considered. And I strongly support that. And I'm sure in an upcoming meeting, hopefully, our superintendent will present that process, And so once again, I as a trustee, as an educator, I'm always being educated at times. So Andrew Sandoval, I want to say thank you for that, And having said that, I've been talking to a lot of parents, as you know, a lot of staff, and I just wanted to say something to all of our entire staff. Let me just say it, and that is, we have superstars from classified staff all the way through certificated, all the way to admin. We have people who have had the greatest change in education in generations in the past and probably to come. To shift to online learning, to shift to all these modalities, to shift, it was just a complete mind crazy situation. Having said that, now we are transitioning into slowly getting back into what we would call normal situation. And that is getting our students back, getting our teachers back into the classroom and teaching. So here's what I'd say, and that is to our entire staff. I say, we believe in you. You have went through the worst, and now we're transitioning hopefully for the best. And we believe in you. We have taken all the safeguards that we can. And to our parents, yes, we are very concerned about your son and daughters and their education. And yes, this district is going to go to all ends possible to make sure that we provide support services along the way so our students can catch up and flourish, all right? And we can keep this in the rearview mirror where it belongs. having said that, once again, I believe in our staff and I believe in getting students and staff back together. That forms a community. The sooner the better. And the other thing I want to say is thank you for the partnership between our district and the high school district in creating the same format. So it helps parents in terms of scheduling, because normally one member of the family is watching the other. All right, even though they're both minors. So this really helps with the scheduling for parents as well. So having said all that, once again, I encourage our district to move forward with the plans that we have and with the great success I know we will have. All right, so thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you, Neil. Andrew, you want to go next?
Sure. Well, yeah, I'd like to thank all our staff. I know we've had record numbers in participation at these Zoom meetings, and I just think they're doing a fantastic job. Like I said earlier, I'd like to thank Victor Sandoval for his joining of the Spanish meeting about reopening schools and everybody's responses they were giving. Maybe not every single question, but the majority of the questions were answered in a professional, respectful, and informative manner. And so I really appreciate that. Melissa, you're doing a great job getting everybody involved in this. And and I know we're getting translated right now, but I would just like to say something in Spanish and then I'll translate in English. Para la comunidad es muy importante que ustedes sepan que estamos aquí para servir la comunidad. Y cualquier cosa que ustedes ocupan de apoyo para sus estudiantes o su familia, estamos aquí para apoyarlos. Y con toda la confianza del mundo, comuníquense con el distrito o nuestra información está en la página de Santa Rita o pueden visitar la oficina del distrito. Estamos aquí para servirlos y cualquier pregunta o preocupación que tengan, comuníquense con nosotros. And, I just said that, we're here for all the families and whatever issues they may have. Feel free to reach out to us. We're here to serve you and answer your questions for you. So thank you very much again, Victor. And thank you, Melissa, for, providing more equitable access to all our families in Santa Rita School District. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Sarah, you want to go next?
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for their hard work, and Victor Sandoval specifically. I was so grateful after the facilities meeting. I can't even tell you, just in terms of projects that have been hanging over our head for so long, moving forward. So I appreciate all the hard work that people put into the district. And it was funny because I've been involved in some other non-Santa Rita events lately where people have said like, well, we can't do that, or we don't have a procedure for that. And I thought, gosh, if you worked in Santa Rita, well, you would. But so thank you to all the hard work that's out there and the incredible professionalism that people bring to their jobs and the concern for the kids in the community. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah. So like a lot of the members, I did attend the town hall meeting, the English one, and I caught tail end of the Spanish one. And it was great seeing all the directors and site staff and stuff, I guess being part of a team, so it's really awesome, Melissa, to see your team and how everybody kind of collaborates and helps each other out. And, even it's not within the role, it's like there's a big support that's kind of going on. And I do appreciate how there was 2 separate meetings because it kind of allowed the flow of conversation to go much quickly. Because especially in the Spanish one, people were able to ask questions and there were responses right away. And I kind of noticed on the English one that I think somebody had mentioned to me that it's, you guys were kind of keeping an eye on the Spanish questions to see if that could be answered in the English section and vice versa. Because, trying to get as much information to both sides that, and setting up that frequently asked questions is going to be awesome and too. So I'm very happy with the direction, the way the district is going and how, I know we're going to talk a lot of stuff on the agenda and stuff, but I'm very excited for what's to come. So we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
So just to give you some idea for our town hall, we had 374 participants in the English meeting, and we had 145 in our Spanish meeting. So that's the most engagement I think well, it's the most we've had in the time that I've been here. And we did have some of our bilingual folks like Becky in the background, kind of making sure that we knew questions from both sides. And so it's really amazing. And the team that I have. Last night we had our DLAC meeting, which Alberto Ramirez is amazing and has more energy late in the PM than I've ever seen. And Donna Koenig was able to give our LCAP survey updates, and I answered some more questions that our families had as they came in the chat. And we had some people ask their questions verbally, so it was really engaging. We had 133 join us for that meeting at our top of the hour at 7. So we went until almost 8. But I think it is worthwhile to answer all of those questions now, and to give people a chance to voice their concerns as we move forward. And because it's such a mutable situation, and there is a certain amount of fear and trepidation about anything that we do right now. And so just being able to give people that forum, I think, is super important as we go through this. And being able to have these meetings online has been a great equalizer for a lot of our community that may not have been able to make it to an event in person pre-pandemic, but they're able to engage with us online. So that's been really amazing, and some new learning in the last, year that we've been doing this. And so I have to thank my entire leadership team and our 2 counselors that help pull off these events. And I have the most amazing team. So when I ask for help, they all show up, all of them. And so as a new superintendent, I'm so lucky with that. So I just want to thank all of them.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, so I would just like to thank Nicole, because every time I log on to the website, there's always these little bubbles that pop up. And so that's all the stuff that's happening now. So, just that ease of access to be able to, I want to jump on the DLAC meeting, log on to the website, and it's right there. So one, I'd like to, definitely thank Nicole for all that updating and work, and especially those little bubbles that I'm sure make a lot of people's lives a lot easier. And second, I want to acknowledge Donna Koenig and Alberto. They make a great team. And, I'm a parent of the district, and my daughter attends Bolsa Knowles. And I would get the 3 days before the meeting, I'd get Donna Koenig's voicemail. Hello, Santa Rita School District families. Reminder, we have a meeting coming up. And then the next time, hello, Santa Rita School District, we need your input into the LCAP. And, we have a district English language committee. So I think the outreach is definitely amazing. And so I second that. Mr. Alberto has, probably an unfair amount of energy. And he's really exciting, and they just engage. The way they engage our families, I'm very excited at Donna's and Alberto's passion and just dedication. So I'll make sure and reach out to them, but I think that they're an awesome team. So thank you for that.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Ms. Patel?
It's coming. Here we go. First of all, Melissa, I am concerned about our transition that our district is going to go through. But I'm very confident that under your leadership that our staff is ready, and we're going to have carry through a vision, which we're going to learn about in terms of how we're going to implement it. And so I'm given the staff that we have, I'm sure this transition is going to be successful, and we've always been. So I'm very proud of the staff, and I feel very secure in that. Having said that, I wanted to focus a little bit on Bolsa Knowles. The staff there has been phenomenal, and they really needed a principal to come in that would fit with that website, with that school site, that really is able to come in and soothe a lot of sorrow. and the fact that I believe that the choice that we have made under your direction, and that is Dr. Estrella, is going to be a really good fit. So I just want to let the BK family know that we're thinking about them, and we have great plans for them, and no one can replace Dr. Gutierrez. Mr. Gutierrez. But at the same time, we can build upon his legacy and create a much better future. So I'm also looking forward to what your plans are with some type of dedication sometime soon. Having said that, continue the great work. That's it.
And now I did want to say also, as Neil was saying, as far as the reopening, to the community out there, we understand that along the way there might be hiccups that come up. So just just work with us and the staff, and slowly everything gets resolved. So this is something new that every school site districts are going through as far as what the opening is. It's never been done before, at least not locally. So I think it's just work with us in the community. The other thing is I did notice on one of the Facebook comments that a parent was asking as far as the progress for Mr. Gutierrez, like dedication or what was going to. So I'm not sure if you and Sarah had gotten a chance to meet yet or how that was going as well.
We'll be scheduling one final meeting to determine our next steps.
Thank you. Okay, there's no final comments. They'll move on to, is there any public comments, Nicole, that have come in, or anybody in the waiting room?
We have no public comments in the waiting room at this time.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to business 6.1.
Yes, that's my item. So the first item, I have 4 of them. So the first item that I have is for the approval of the resolution to increase the minimum reserves. As you know, usually we're required to do the 3%. Implementing the 17% would allow the district to cover approximately 3 months of payroll expenses, is usually the recommendation, as I mentioned before, from the state and the county. What really motivated me to bring this to you, to the board for approval, is because this is a more formal way of having our reserves more than what is required. As you know, the 3% doesn't even cover 1 month of payroll expenditures. And also because this is also gonna help with the rating of the district overall. So I think it's a really good idea to implement this. It's my recommendation for the long-term financial situation for the district. As like I said, it is gonna help out our district rating overall. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
I had a question, and I forgot to email this one out, but what's the process as far as like we pass this when getting our rating relooked at again, and if we move up to different category?
Yes, so when the person that reviews all the financial information for the district, by having something formal with the resolution, we gain points. It's kind of like your credit score. So this looks better in the financial terms for the district because the board is in agreement and they're looking at the long-term financial goals for the district. So when they look at the scoring on how we're budgeting, how much we have in reserves, it does impact the district's rating. So it would be a benefit. And after reviewing all of the information, I'm going to get the results in the first weeks of April.
Okay, so potentially if we pass this the first week of April, we might try to see as far as what the impact was in passing this.
Yes, it would definitely is going to help out. They review our second interim report. And as you remember, on the second interim, I had already allocated the 17%. And I did share that we did have the 17%, and it was the goal for the district to at least maintain that. But as soon as if the board approves the resolution, I can email them a copy, and it would be a beneficial for the district as well.
Okay, thank you, Rosa. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I do understand the rating system and the financial potential benefit to us in terms of bonds and ratings, but I can't support this resolution at this time, and it has nothing to do with our office, who I think is spectacular. It has to do with the fact that California doesn't have a very functional system of funding education. And I feel like there's this push now to somehow make the districts be responsible for something that should be taken care of at the state level. And I can't support that dysfunction. And it may very well be that there will become a time, because of the lack of funding that we're receiving, that it's really detrimental to our students to keep a 17% reserve. So I just don't feel comfortable supporting this at this time.
I think for myself, I had a question about that as well to Melissa, as far as like it locking us in. And I think one thing that if whatever reason, and I don't know if this will change your mind, but that if we ever do need to make a shift, that we could always pass a new resolution, depending on how our needs go. Because at first I did feel a little bit handicapped with the 17% reserves, but then I remembered when we did our Good Beginnings workshop, Terry also mentioned to me, and now I keep this in the back of my mind all the time, is don't make my mind up yet. Initially I had kind of the same thing, and I was like, okay, let me kind of listen to what's going on. And so one of the things I emailed Melissa was that, hey, what if we get into a situation where it's affecting our educational services just for maintaining that reserves? Because the rating is important to me, but more important are the students and kind of what's kind of happening there. And she did mention that if we ever do find ourselves in that position, then we could always pass a new resolution and stuff. And I think that's kind of what changed my perspective on it, was like, hey, right now we're just showing that we're fiscally responsible more than the average district is, which will kind of help our rating out, but we still have that flexibility that our hands aren't being tied forever with that type of situation. So, but I'm interested to hear what the rest of the board thinks as well.
Okay, this is one of the rare times where we're going to have a split vote, and I'm happy we are. Let me explain. I totally understand where Sarah's going with this. At some point we have to protest this idea that this dysfunction of state not providing equitable funding. How in the hell does, excuse my language, do two public systems gets two separate amounts of money? How does Carmel get over 14,000 for their public students, and we here get what, 8,000, 9,000? Can we expect that of any other public entity? Does a DMV build a Beverly Hills version for Beverly Hills? No. They design it based on cost, and they don't base it on the zip code. We do that for everything except education. So I totally understand your protest vote. So I support it. Having said that, I'm going to vote yes on this. And because I also want to understand the realistic goal of affecting our credit worthiness and our credit rating. I'm a fiscally conservative guy. And I think stating that 17% is something we believe in terms of protecting our employees and our obligations to them, rather than spending it and not being able to protect their future, I can support. So once again, where I started, I am very happy that we are having a split vote here. Thank you.
Well, it looks like Rosa may want to make some comments. Is that before I make my comments? Do you want to clarify something, Rosa? Or
No, go ahead. I can, I can share something after. Mr. Sandoval is right. If in 2 years, 3 years, we're not able to have this commitment, we can take it again and go back to the 3%. Based on what I heard and what they have been sharing with me is that obviously in the long term, they're putting this into the district. So maybe the 3%, instead of being a requirement of 3%, there might be a require for 17% in the future. So they're just trying to have this good habit of, let's start the communication with the district and the county so that, we get prepared for that and maybe in the future. And like Mr. Patel said, it is to protect the employees. Like I said, 70% will cover 3 months of payroll expenditures. So it does help out with cash deferrals, especially right now that we're facing cash deferrals this year, next year as well. Instead of going out for a loan, we can use those reserves to help out the district as well.
I have no comments. Thank you.
Okay, so if there's any other final questions or comments? Nope. Can I get a motion to approve 6.1?
So motion?
Okay. Can I get a second? Okay, second. Can we do roll call, please?
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Nay, sorry, guys.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Yes, and Sarah, I'm proud of your vote.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 3-1.
Thank you, everybody. And I do appreciate that we're able to have a conversation with that about that, even though, it'll still be okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, okay, so move on to 6.2.
Yes, that's also my item. And the 6.2 is to approve the contract with our audit services that we have every year. It's an ongoing expenditure, is already part of my budget report and is there for approval for Ed Code. We have to take it to the board for approval. So I'm available if you have any questions in regards to this.
I think they do an awesome job every year, and I always appreciate when they come to the meetings and are able to answer questions. So I'm totally in support.
I've been very happy after we've changed, so I would like to continue.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. So moving on to item 6.3.
Yes, and that's also my item. This is for the contract with MCOE for special services. And it's pretty much the agreement that MCOE has with School Services of California. This is where we get all of the information, most updated information, especially right now with COVID. As you know, every month, all the CBOs in Monterey County gets together and we have a meeting about what's going on and new updates. And we do get a presentation every month from School Services providing financial updates and pretty much all the updates that we need. And to be able to get the discounted rate, pretty much all of the 24 districts in Monterey County have to agree to get the discount. And this is an ongoing for many, many years and is there again for renewal and for your approval.
Any questions or comments? No? Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconds. Okay, we'll do roll call, please.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. So move on to 6.4.
And that's my last item. This is for the ESER 2 funds. As you know, this is for COVID-19 related expenses, one-time funds for one-time expenses, just like Mr. Patel mentioned. On the backup, you would see the plan. I did work in collaboration with our acting superintendent, with our director of food services and our director of MOT, and also with our director of special education services to get together to come up with a plan for the next steps that we have in the next months just to get us started. So I do have the expenditure plan. As I mentioned, it is a restricted fund and I put every section for every goal that meets the Ed Code requirements. It's an estimated amount as of now, and I know that as we move forward, we might have expenditures that we don't have here in this plan. And for that reason, I did put a 25% aside for those expenditures that we don't know, because this is the first time that we go through something like this. And we just know that there's going to be something that's going to come up, and it might not be part of the plan, but we have it in there that we're going to add it if it's something essential. And in the backup, you also see the apportionment from the state and a copy of the letter for when I apply for the funds. If you have any questions or comments, like I mentioned, there was a team collaboration. Feel free to ask. Thank you.
Mr. Patel.
You know, when I look at the breakdown, I was very pleased in what I saw. You know, when we get this additional monies, I'm always concerned to make sure that they're placed in the most appropriate manner. And when I saw that, you know, a lot of it's going to safety protocols, training, a lot of protective equipment, and a huge chunk going for supporting our students for the summer academy, so we can make up for a lot of the lost learning. So once again, I challenge anyone in the public, you know, if they're concerned about where we're using our money, here it is. You know, we are transparent. You know, we're not hiding anything from you. Our staff is number one priority, as well as our students, and education, you know, is in there. So when you look at this budget and you see how we was spent, I'm very proud of the work that our district has done. So thank you for providing this information, and it gives me more trust that the monies are being spent where they should be. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Just thank you for all the hard work. And I know there's been so much paperwork this year and so many different programs, and just I'm so grateful that of all the extra work that everybody's put in.
Okay, if no other questions or comments, can I get a motion to approve 6.4?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Sarah. Can I get a second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you. Moving on.
Thank you.
Student services, 7.1.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sandoval. I have 3 items tonight, starting with just an annual approval of annual updates of safety plans. And this was a tricky thing to kind of get done this year because can everybody hear me? Okay. So I have for you the just a quick approval item for the annual update of safety plans, which is unusual this year with just the circumstances. And I want to thank the principals for, you know, just figuring out a way to get some updated information in there and present them to whatever group that they could. We've got a little leeway with MCOE-ish this year on these. So they should be posted to the websites. A couple of principals had a glitch on that I wasn't aware of, but they're there and you can review them as needed. There weren't many changes. A lot of what we include in safety plans are fire drills and those types of evacuation drills. So it's a pretty easy item to approve this year. And I do want to let everybody know that we were not receiving the emails on even safety plans being due. So I'm not sure who the contact had been prior. So I just tried to step in and get them going and get something done and have the principals review them with whatever information they had. We only have to turn in the signature pages to MCOE. So that's what I provided for you this evening. If you have any questions on that, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Just a quick comment on, I had the opportunity to review 2 of them that were posted on the websites. Just an update. They listed a police contact, and Officer Lino, who used to be with our district, he's no longer with the Salinas Police Department. So they might just want to update that.
Yeah, we have a couple more updates to do. Actually, I had a really great conversation with a parent yesterday who thought we still had our school resource officers. And it was such a sad conversation. We missed them terribly. But yes, that should be changed. And those are edits I can make. I have access to the drive. I did my best to review them as quickly as possible. We're a little bit past the deadline for them to be due to MCOE. But I did reach out and let them know our situation and that we had not received the emails letting us know that they were due and that I was taking it over and that I would do what I could to get them at least some level of updated plan. There are no penalties, But yes, I agree, Mr. Andrew Sandoval. We can take a closer look now and just updating some of those contacts. Yes.
Thank you, Nadine, for taking that on as well, especially with the short time span. Yeah. I'm going to make a motion to approve 7.1. Can I get a second? Sarah seconds. Can we do roll call, please?
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, aye, Captain.
Sarah Turner,
Yes.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, everybody. 7.2 is next.
Yes, the next one is something that I've been working on, Becky, with in getting our uniform complaint procedure form filled out. Actually not filled out, but completed. And we would like to have that approved tonight. What this will do is it gives us a form that allows the public to print out and complete and turn it into us or scan it to us. And we think this will be very helpful to the public when they have a concern in this area. We did work with, because this is such an important exhibit and these are serious concerns when they come up. Becky and I had, I think we had let the board know we were going to work with Lozano Smith a little bit on this just to make sure that it was a compliant document and acceptable, and take some guidance from them to make sure that we had a solid document to provide to the public. So by approving this document tonight, the first thing that will happen is I'll upload it as an exhibit to our board policy website, and then I will work with Becky. We'll want this posted on our HR page as well in PDF form for parents to, or any community member. It's not just for parents to be able to access that.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I'd just like to say thank you for taking this on. This will help, not just, explain the process, but help understand what issues are covered under this particular UCP. And as you posted, I know a lot of districts post it at the bottom of their webpage, just make it easy and searchable, just in case anybody has any issues. So thank you for taking this on. I'm very happy with the format and, it being in Spanish as well. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments? No, yeah, thank you. I agree with, it's a great format. Appreciate the awareness. Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I think she, you, bro. Yeah. Okay, she'll take the second.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval, Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving on
Thank
to point 3.
Thank you. So the last item I have tonight, we had the pleasure of having Peter Fleming present a project that he's been working on for his Tier 2 program, and as well as speak to his mission statement. So I'm asking the board to approve the mission statement that was developed by Peter Fleming and his team that he put together. I included the mission statement on the agenda background information sheet. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that, but we're really looking forward and hoping the board will give us their support on this item tonight. Thank you.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, yes.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Yes.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
He's on the. Okay, moving on to item 8.1.
Thank you. The first item I have is a request to approve revisions to the job description for Director of Curriculum and Instruction. The last time this job description was reviewed was at the time that Melissa was hired into the district. So it's been a little over 6 years. And there were just some updates that needed to be made to bring it to our current times. Deletion of some responsibilities and addition of others.
Is there any questions or comments from the board on the updates to the job? No? Okay, can I get a motion to approve? A motion to approve? Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, everybody. Moving on to 8.2.
I have another job description that we are requesting to revise. The Director of Parent and Family Engagement job position was approved just over a year ago. And then with the pandemic, we did not hire that position, but we are looking to move in that direction. And again, with our current situation, there were only a few revisions that we wanted to make sure that it would meet the needs of the district in these times.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
I'm excited about this. I held a similar position earlier in my career, which I absolutely loved, one of the best jobs I've ever had. And I would just say going forward, really the key to making this job great is figuring out all the resources that are available in their community and building that bridge so that, you know, you become a community school without duplicating resources. You find them, and then you have a way, you know, where the families really know that they can come to you and that you have access to all of these different, a lot of times they have no idea what the solution is to their problem, and you know the person who does have that. So it can be a really powerful position.
Yeah, I'm also very excited. I know there's a lot of community engagement groups that we have, like DLAC and ELAC, and I know that our directors sometimes are spread a little bit thin, just how administrative staff. So I think this is going to be awesome to have somebody that's specifically focused on this. And you know, studies have been done where, you know, authentic community engagement really increases how students succeed in schools, which is, you know, our #1 priority. So.
Yes, this is great. Everything in here is, you know, will help improve our district and will benefit our students and families. So I'm excited as well. And I like the one of the parts where it says collaborative. We'll collaborate. I think we have a great asset in Dr. Purnell, and hopefully when this position gets hired, we can collaborate with the LSL School District and you know utilize their knowledge to help make our Community Resource Center the best that it can be. Thank you.
Ms. Patel?
You know, I am happy and sad right now. You know, when I think of this position, I think of one person, and that is John Gutierrez. You know, his outreach from Bolsa Knolls all the way through GV and his dedication and you know, is what inspired this position, if you will, you know, and how do we connect with our community? So I know he's not, you know, obviously with us anymore, and his spirit lives on, you know, and so once again, you know, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but for me, this is a very hard thing to go through. And so with having said that, in the spirit of John Gutierrez, I wholeheartedly support this, and I would love to see it blossom and reach its true fruition as much as possible. So once again, you know, it's bittersweet, bittersweet. Thank you.
You want to make the motion, Ms. Patel?
Yes, in the name of John Gutierrez, I motion that we approve 8.2.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay, second. Roll call.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, aye, Captain.
Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Move on to 8.3.
So we are requesting approval here for a new job description. for a coordinator of online learning and intervention supports. We understand that online learning will at least be with us for the next year or two, and want to be sure that we have somebody who can really oversee that online learning program and make sure it is effective for our students while we're supporting learning loss interventions as well. So this job description would support that goal.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this forward, Becky and Melissa. I know that it's an innovative way of thinking, and which is what's going to help our district and our students succeed. So, any other questions or comments from the board? No.
I just wanted to say that it's innovative and proactive, so I appreciate that.
And I just want to add, this is prudently budget worthy. You know, we have some additional funds coming in for the next 2 years, and this ties in very well with that. And we do have to have additional support to regain that learning loss. So I am absolutely in support.
I motion to approve 8.3. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Ms. Sariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. Now we move on to 8.4.
With the changes and additions of job descriptions, we wanted to be sure those were reflected on the certificated management salary schedule.
It's very
So the changes reflected here are solely to include the titles of those positions and do not reflect any changes to salary amounts.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. Unless anybody has any questions or comments. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a motion? Can I get a second?
Second.
12 seconds. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, everybody. 8.5.
Now that all the job descriptions and revisions have been approved, I'm coming back around to each one to request that we add those positions and open them. So the first one is for the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. This is a position that has been on our certificated salary schedule for some time. Most recently, Melissa held the title of Assistant Superintendent for Education Services, but the way our salary schedule is written, the Assistant Superintendent title can be additional responsibilities for any cabinet member. And so Melissa will be bringing to you a recommendation for the Assistant Superintendent title at a future meeting. And so at this time, we would be looking to hire a Director of Curriculum and Instruction in her place.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Patel.
You know, Mr. President, when I saw this, I thought, you know, wait a second. Why can't Melissa do 2 jobs at once? You know, and then my wife said, Neil, that's illegal. You cannot have, you know, you can't make people work those hours. You know, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. So having said that, having the separation is so good. We need to have somebody in that position. So having said that, I'm very for it now. So I just want to make my point clear.
Please thank your wife for me.
I just had a question. What would be the potential timeline as far as the posting and then when we could probably project that we probably have that position potentially filled?
I have started working with our HR specialist to prepare the posts to be opened on Friday, pending your approval. And so we would post these positions for 2 weeks and then make an interview plan, because there will be 3 positions plus our vice principal position that are kind of falling within the same timeline. So we don't want to exhaust people, but we're going to try and get them filled soon for next year.
Thank you. If there's no other questions or comments, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a motion second, please?
A second?
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, everybody. 8.6.
Okay, and this is a request for approval to open a position for Director of Parent and Family Engagement.
Motion to approve?
Motion approved. Can I get a second?
Second?
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Awesome. Exciting. 8.7.
And now we are requesting to open a new position for Coordinator of Online Learning and Intervention Supports.
Motion
Motion.
to approve. Like I'm talking over people. Sorry.
Mr. Ritzel, second that, I believe.
Oh, anytime I get to second after Miss Turner gives a first, I am a very happy and proud man.
Your roll call, please.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Of course, yes, 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 yes.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving on to 8.8.
At our last board meeting, you approved the sunshine from SRTA to open one article for negotiations for the 21-22 school year. And we are now requesting your approval for our district sunshine to SRTA to negotiate the article of procedures for evaluation.
Okay, if there's no questions or comments, can I get a motion to approve?
I've got sunshine with the motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Oh, yes.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you for letting me be the star for a little while. Beat item.
Okay, so it looks like we move on to future board items. If there's anything that the board would like to request.
I am very excited and to see the direction our district's going to go with the summer academies, you know, and the different ideas and how we're going to engage our awesome students and teachers, you know, and our community back. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm sure Melissa and the entire staff have great ideas coming down the pipeline. So thank you.
As we get closer, we can bring an information item for you so we can share those. So,
And just an information item on preschool update.
yes.
Is there any other items or requests by the board? Nope. Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn at 7:52 p.m.?
I motion to adjourn.
And I second that emotion and that motion. I do. Did you all hear me? That's right. I ain't gonna hold this one up.
Thank you, Sal. Can I roll call, please?
I'm a giver. I'm a giver.
Mr. Andrew Sandoval,
Aye, aye.
Mr. Neil Patel. You're muted.
Oh, aye.
Miss Sarah Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Aye.
Mariano isn't present. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy your evenings and stay safe out there. Bye.
I want to everyone great spring. I hope everyone has a safe and fun spring break. You know, I think many people deserve it.
You too.